It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now. It's time to stretch and fetch. See what's cooking at our refreshment counter. You'll find your favorite foods and beverages, plus many new goodies to tempt your appetite and add to your evening's pleasure. Everything's the finest quality. So treat yourself now. Nine minutes to go to showtime. Popcorn, rich with hot melted butter. All kinds of candy. Sparkling soft drinks. Steaming hot coffee. Steamed or grilled hot dogs. Crispy hot fresh French fries. Minutes to go to showtime.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons. It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
7 minutes to go to showtime. Hot popcorn, just pop. Fresh roasted peanuts. How about a pizza? None better anywhere. Sizzling hamburgers grilled to your taste. We've a large assortment of freshly made sandwiches. Minutes to go to showtime.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those, and 1 of those, and 5 bars of these, and a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white coffee material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
Minutes to go.
Hello there. Give the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at our snack bar, just waiting for you. Mmm.
4 minutes to go to showtime.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
Oh, there, and I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Ethan, there's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
The crowds are thinning out at the snack bar, folks, and there are still 3 minutes till showtime. You can easily make it for something that'll just hit the spot. How about it? Don't waste a second of refreshment time. You'll find such an appetizing assortment of refreshments at the snack bar, you won't be able to decide what to ask for first. All of your snack bar favorites are there, including fresh peanuts, hot popcorn, and candy of all kinds. And believe us, you've never eaten better hot dogs, crisper French fries, or more delicious buttered popcorn. Minutes to go to the snack bar for a quick refresher before showtime. No crowds to buck, just go get it. You'll be sorry you missed your chance to enjoy some of the many tempting goodies waiting for you. Stretch your legs now while the stretching's good. There's still time to get a mouth-watering hot dog, a sparkling ice-cold soda, assorted flavors of ice cream, all kinds of candy, the most delicious steaming hot coffee you ever drank, and freshly popped popcorn piping hot. Make a beeline for the snack bar right now to quench your thirst. One minute left to top off the evening with a treat from our snack bar. Still time if you hurry. Last call for refreshments, folks. Go right this second to get something good to eat and drink to enjoy now or during the rest of the show. The finest quality ingredients are in the fixins of the delicious foods you'll find waiting to tempt your appetite at the snack bar. Extra special good hamburgers, wonderful donuts, ice-cold, thirst-quenching drinks. Pizza generously sliced, steaming hot, fresh coffee, ice cream in many flavors. It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
Hi. So, we're going to do some more 428 Shibuya Scramble because it's an interesting story and it's kind of fun. I'm not going to lie. And then, of course, we're going to end it all with some more Blender work at night. But first things first, I gotta wait for Steam to actually load because it's not, for whatever reason. Again, just decided to freeze when it was trying to load. Oh boy. I think it's working now. Yeah, there it is. It's working now. And of course, new news on Steam. What do we have? Stardock, publisher sale. Ugh. Good Shepherd Entertainment, don't know them. Sword Art Online franchise, don't care. Legend of Keepers, don't care. Darkest Dungeon, 85% off for $3.74. It's not bad for a pretty decent game. But we're not here for that. We're here for $4.28. And I believe it's good to go. I don't know if it's gonna be captured or not, but I'm gonna fucking try. Please let it work. Nope. Alright, we're gonna have to use desktop mode again. There we go. Turn off that one, and we should be good. There it is. Oh, hi, Lurie. Alright, load game. Lurking. You can lurk all you want, I don't mind. So the last storyline that we got was Osawa, which ended up being the father of the twins, who were... One of them was kidnapped and the other one not. Almost kidnapped, though. And then we played, let's see, Tama, and we played... Did we play... I think we did play Achi first. So now, it's either Kano or Minorikawa. Let's try Minorikawa. Never seen him before. He seems like a dude. Alright, what is the Super Cub 90? A motorcycle produced by Honda with an 85cc engine displacement. Common sight around town, often used by newspaper and postal delivery workers. Many owners are big enthusiasts, sometimes even swapping out parts such as the handlebars or mufflers and giving the body a repaint, resulting in fashionable bikes that don't even look like Super Cubs at first glance. So the Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 toward Shibuya. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kilometers. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minoru Minorikawa shouted as he sped along. "Damn it, I am not letting you die!" He jerked the handlebars and blew past a truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by. "You maniac! You trying to get yourself killed?" "Just the opposite," Minorikawa shouted back. "I'm saving lives!" The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection. "Oh, come on." He had no choice but to slam on the brakes. But his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. How long is this thing gonna stay red? Hurry up already. He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter. Huh? Oh, come on! What the hell? Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug, or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab. "Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer." The taxi driver nodded coolly. "Of course, sir." 10 minutes. I need you to get me there in 10 minutes. The driver grimaced. "I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit... 15 then." "Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford." "Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises." Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going? Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home working on an interview piece. He clucked his... Ooh, excuse me. Oh, that was weird. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably could wrap this piece up in no time, rather. Be quiet! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled. I'm writing here! He shouted, but his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up. Minorikawa speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing. What is Heaven Publishing? A publishing company that puts out both hard-hitting non-fiction books and tabloid-style scandal rags. The invincible journalist, penned by company president Toyama himself, was a candidate for the Japan Non-Fiction Prize. Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he had been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here. Working on some copy. Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. You're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting. I hear sales have been good on your end, he said cautiously, with this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. A magazine focusing on the private lives of celebrities and politicians. Most of the articles found in its pages are random nonsense, but 1 out of every 100 or so contains an actual major scoop, making it a difficult outlet to ignore. It had a small circulation, and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again. Then again. It kind of sounded like sobbing. Mr. Toyama, are you crying? There was another soft sob, and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minorikawa asked. At the office, Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama, you still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell is going on? Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur, The only thing I can do now is die. The taxi lurched to a sudden stop as the driver slammed on the brakes. Minorikawa pitched forward, his face smacking against the back of the seat in front of him. Kimizuka stuck his head out the window. "Careful, buddy," he shouted at someone in the street ahead. "You're going to get yourself killed." Minorikawa blinked the stars from his eyes and saw a man moving alongside the cab. The guy grabbed onto the handle of the back door. "Please, I need you to let me have this cab." "No way," Minorikawa snapped. Just who did this guy think he was? "Please, I'm begging you here." "Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab." "I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent." "Urgent?" "Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please." The guy did look pretty desperate. "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too." "Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here." The guy sure was persistent. Maybe he was telling the truth. But Minorikawa had problems of his own. "Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine." "Right. So sorry to trouble you." Finally, the guy gave up and shuffled away. Guess it couldn't have been that much of a life-ending crisis after all. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. "Damn it! That just cost us 5 minutes." "I'll try to make it up, sir," the driver called back. The taxi lurched into motion, the engine quickly revving up to speed. Once inside the building, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-Star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. "Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama!" He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. "Whoa!" The sight as he stepped into the office filled him with horror. Wait, holy shit! Minorikawa clutched the sides of his head. "I'm too late." Oh no, if only I'd gotten here a little sooner. Really? There were no choices in that one. What the fuck was I supposed to do? You son of a bitch. Minorikawa rushed to Heaven Publishing as fast as he could, but he didn't get there in time to save Toyama, and sad to say, it was really all Kano's fault. Why does Kano want a taxi so badly? Check his 1110 timestamp, and the situation might become clearer. I think I'm at a dead end with this character anyways, then, if that's the case. So I actually have to start up the other dude's story and see what's going on. Yeah, because that's all 4 of them. And here we go. As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He'd followed the culprit as far as the alleys, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kuzei's voice crackled through the earpiece. "Mobile Command Center calling all units. The suspect on the motorcycle has handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner." "For real?" Kano muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike? The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. "We've retrieved the bike and run the plate, and we've determined it was a stolen vehicle." What is a stolen vehicle, you may ask? Well, it's a stolen vehicle. Like, I don't know how else, like, what else is there in the description? Okay, by using digital wireless systems in their patrol cars, officers are able to directly access the station's computer network, allowing them to quickly check to see if an individual is on a wanted list or if a vehicle is stolen. Just like any other fucking police cop car that has a computer inside, which is every single one of them. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading through Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. It looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka. But do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself without knowing more about the crook's M.O. Letting this guy go for now is probably the only right call. I just want you all to know one last thing. Kuze's tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out. Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Right. It's now or never. The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency. He decided to pick up. Rumi?
I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now?
Kind of. Is this an emergency?
Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and...
Shibuya? Why did she have to be in Shibuya now of all times?
So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden.
What? Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even deigned to meet him.
Yeah, he told me to tell you he wants to meet with you.
What? Now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he'd intended.
I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait.
This can't be happening. Kano whimpered to himself.
I'm sorry, I know he can be demanding.
That's not the issue. Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to refuse. All right, Kano said, but I'll have to call you back later, okay?
I really am sorry. I'll be at the cafe called La Trek. It's by the train station.
Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone. As if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last, he stumbled into motion. But even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. I cannot English when it's forced upon me like this. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? What is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you may ask? Well, that is fairly self-explanatory. I don't know why there's a definition for it, but there is. Moving on. Maybe he could slip away for just a bit. There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Fuck! Okay. Alright, is this the choice, then, that I have to make that changes the other one? This is my big chance. I shouldn't go meet with Rumi and Shizuo while I can. No, right now I have got a job to focus on. No, right now I've got a job to focus on. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? A girl's life was on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with the old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with the attaché case walking by. Further up along Dogenzaka in the direction the perp was heading was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car. No, wait. Hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. In case you don't know what wireless is, there it is. Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore. That's not your call to make. Keep watching him. Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if... Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner. Again? How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuo should be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called La Trek. The name of the cafe where college student Ryoko Kakinuma works as a waitress, named after 19th century French painter Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. He created numerous works, including many posters, book illustrations, and book covers, which are highly regarded in the art world. He kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a very offered a view of the cozy interior. I cannot fucking English right now. The sign out front read Lautrec. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him, so the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never even seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he'd been a detective with the investigation division. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career, and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he'd thought, he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her, but the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now, the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went into the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? Jesus. It looks like the suspect is going to board a train, Kano informed Kuze over the wireless.
Make sure you stay on his tail.
Apparently, Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit.
We've got the lizards ready to pursue. We'll reestablish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at.
What are the lizards? Japanese police lingo for motorcycle squads deployed to pursue suspects in urban settings. I actually never knew that for as long as I fucking lived there. I never knew that. The man purchased the ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he'd bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. In case you don't know, prepaid cards exist. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. "Yes, everything's going fine on this end," he said. "There's no need to worry." In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that's not suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. "Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread." 225? Article 225 of the Penal Code of Japan details kidnapping for profit and kidnapping for ransom. Accordingly, 225 is police shorthand for kidnapping. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. "Yes, right. Uh-huh. Understood." Kano stole a glance of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to suck his dick? Get on his knees and suck his dick. Is there a button for that? No. Look away nonchalantly, stare him down. Stare him down. Kano decided to stare him down. My apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. "I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency." The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. "You gotta stop staring at everyone," an oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. That's gonna be his partner, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama? When did you get here? His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. It's quite rare for Sasayama to actually wear a suit. On the rare occasions when he does, and he's walking the halls of his home precinct, he frequently goes unrecognized. Here are some of Sasayama's costume designs from his evidence book. Wait, really? Wait, was that hard gay? Oh my fucking god.
Wait, what?
One of the dudes disguises as straight up hard gay. Do you know what hard gay is?
I know who hard gay is. Nice.
Okay! I fucking love it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Chef, magician, samurai, and an astronaut, to name a few. But this was a new extreme even for him.
Hard gay.
When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits. But lately, his quirk had become tedious.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.
Hi, Google. Set alarm for 6 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 6 a.m. Exactly.
Yeah, like at the ocean.
And, did you take a sleep drug? Oh. Well, that was very nice.
It tastes like cookies and milk.
That's normal, I guess, because he had cookies and milk. You taste like my nutsack.
I wonder why. I should probably, like, give it 30 more minutes because I just took them.
Probably. You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind. Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket. Drink this while you can, guessing you haven't eaten. Huh? What's this? The least I could do. He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. Oh god, don't drink it. And his life is ruined. He didn't eat at all. And from what we learned in the previous story, this shit is made out of, like, pure peppers. So he's not gonna have a good time. He'd pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him? What the heck? Anything's better than nothing. He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. Oh, bad. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat. A heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And there was pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat, his forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping. Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me? With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. Earn? Oh no. After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. Motherfucker. What's the hint? Kano blacked out after drinking an unknown substance without checking to see what it was. What he drank, it turns out, was a free sample of something called Burning Hammer. But don't blame Sasayama, he was just passing along the sample he got from someone in a mascot costume. Motherfucker, I gotta go back to that one and change it. Alright, so first things first.
let's go ahead and change Tama's thing. I don't remember which one it was.
Exclamation mark, yeah, mark.
Hi, doggy. Was it this one? Yes, who to choose. Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of Burning Hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt and makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past.
So no tongue jobs tonight.
Nah, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Bam. There goes the wind right out for my sails. I wonder how the other mascot is doing about now. I think everything from here on is going to continue like normal. So in theory, I should be able to just switch back. Whoops. Oh, fuck. I don't remember how to switch back. There we go. Switch back to Kano. All this is still the same. Okay, Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the year. Santa Claus, Yakuza member, Japanese folk singer, and a Buddhist priest, to name a few. But this was a new extreme, even for him. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits. But lately, his quirk had become tedious. Concentrate. Keep your eyes peeled. Sasayama gave Kano a pat on the backside and slipped away into the car. Or into the next car. The suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku. Next stop, Harajuku. Huh? Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving toward the exit door. Apparently, he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku Station, and the man got off. What is Harajuku? It's the area east of the Japan Rail Harajuku Station, corresponding to Junmai Ichichome in Shibuya. Once a bustling shukuba, or post station where travelers could rest while journeying across the country. In modern times, it bustles instead with high schoolers after school displaying flashy youth fashion. Clothing and accessory stores and fast food restaurants line the streets. Many cutting-edge trends in Japanese youth culture get their start here. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. The suspect walked along the platform and took a seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Sticking around on the platform at a station where he had just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, the investigators from the MPD made their way down the stairs as inconspicuously as they could. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak to one of the station attendants. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something on the train just now. He tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he fed his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, attaché case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting here for someone else then? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area. Wait, what the heck? If this guy got on the counterclockwise train, wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? The suspect got off again once the train reached Shibuya. All he'd done was go to Harajuku and come right back. Kano reported
Kano reported it in to Kuze. The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station. Acknowledged. Keep tailing him. Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. This criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away.
Exclamation mark meow.
Hello, Snoop. And here was HQ, giving these guys free rein. Something was off. He was sure of that. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tateno's instincts about the case right now? If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tateno's number. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, God.
The line rang a few times, but nobody
Decided
picked
to
up.
get coffee for the drive home tonight.
Hey, smart move. Coffee's good. It's good for you. You know what's even better?
Need to go home.
You know what's even better for you than coffee?
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. But something with actual caffeine, maybe some Rogue Energy. I just so happen to have a code that you can use. Never mind, I'm sorry. What?
Plug your merch, baby.
I did plug my merch. I'm plugging that later.
I'll be asleep. You better not.
I'm gonna fucking plug it.
That horn.
I'm gonna fucking plug you.
The
Slap you.
champagne.
Room on the bed for you.
The French.
It's me and Leo tonight.
Oh.
It's me
But
and
really, there's a lot of good flavors like blood orange and grape popsicle and blue raspberry. Actually, I could probably use some blue raspberry myself, to be perfectly honest. Huh?
There's no room on you for the bed tonight. It's just me and Leo.
Alright, that's fine. If he wants to... Wait, is he actually... Oh, it looks like he is. I'm surprised. He usually doesn't like to sleep on the bed. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Hitomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They'd been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the attaché case was handed off yet again. This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into two groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. Wow. As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while. I'm having trouble with English. Repeatedly looping around and around the same locations was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. Excuse me, detective? Kano turned around with a start. Oh, hey, he said. I know you. It was Leland Palmer, the lecturer who'd been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man practically radiated concern. How is Maria doing? Is she all right? I am very, worried for her. His Japanese was more halting now. My heart is with her family. Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. B. I'm gonna say B. If the syndicate spots us, my cover's blown. We're hosed. I can't stick around like this. Leland, I'm sorry, but at this stage, I can't share any details. Is that so? Oh, yes, of course. Leland cast his eyes down and hung his head. Please, don't worry, though. We are still hard at work investigating. Ah, yes. Thank you very much. With that, Kano turned away from the lecturer and went back to tailing his suspect. He pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she'd called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe with Shizuo? Kano picked up hurriedly. What's the matter? What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was a threatening masculine voice that came over the phone. Uh-oh. Connell felt his whole body stiffen with dread. Is this my father-in-law speaking? Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law. The speaker's tone was firm and flat. No, I know, I just, Connell found himself at a loss for words. So you're dating my daughter, huh? Sir, yes, sir. Connell barely squeaked out his reply. Thinking about getting married? Yes, sir. And speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down and have a nice long... And how long are you going to keep me waiting? Hurry up and get your ass over here. Oh, how very much Connell wished he could do... how very much he wished he could do exactly that. Sir, I would, but... Forget it. The words came in an angry huff.
I just want to.
You can't have her. Goodbye. What? Sir, please wait. As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line. Dad, you can't just use my phone like that. You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back. Rumi? Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said he doesn't want us getting married. What? Dad? Why did you say that? What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you. Calling that boy little pet names and whatnot? I think you're a little too attached. Daddy, you haven't even met him. That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long is he gonna make me wait? Kano listened as the two argued on the other end of the phone. The phone must be lying somewhere between them. Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm sorry, Kano shouted apologetically into the mouthpiece. This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight like this. The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what? It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background. You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father, Rumi said hastily. You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi. Kano was legitimately touched. I'll do my best. Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command to all units. Once more, the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the attaché case by the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet, then, but still, a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the police on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. Oh, I actually made it. Alright, so we got one to be continued. Since we didn't do the taxi cab thing, we should be able to do this then.
For sending it.
1 million
1
troops. 1 million troops. Wow.
Why?
1 million troops.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
I love that clip. I'll go ahead and just skip past all the stuff that I've seen already to the point where the bullshit happened. Is there a fast forward button in this? Like legit?
Oh, shit. Controls. Autoplay off, close summary, autoplay on and off. I don't think there really is. Click left shift while reading to activate the autoplay function. Oh, you can adjust the speed. Perfect. Oh my god. It's kind of lame that it starts all the way from here. So this other character, he is a writer. Yeah, he's a writer. He doesn't work for anyone particularly, so he's freelance. He's done some stuff in the past. He works with this company. Dude from the company gives him a call out of nowhere. It says that he's not calling to give him any work or anything. But the way that he's acting seems a little weird. And he basically says that how it's better if he were to die, basically, before hanging up. So this character goes after him to his last known location, which was the publisher's building, or the area that they rented out in a building. Now, when I was playing this, basically you make it to the building a little late because Kano stops your taxi trying to ask for a ride, and by the time you make it there, you see the dude's body hanging from the rafters. So now that we didn't have to use a taxi or anything this time around as Kano, everything should be good. There we go, 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked out the window. Shibuya Station. I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimizuka. He told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon? Kimizuka bristled. Not you, the guy who's waiting on me, Minorikawa said. I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind. The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet. Then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have the taxi wait here? Or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. Wait here. I'll be right back. Minorikawa was out of the cab in an instant and running for the building. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-Star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling. What the hell are you doing? Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minorikawa, what are you doing? Toyama whined, rather. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know. Minorikawa's fury was mounting. What the hell is this all about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that.
One of the fluorescent lights died, and I was just swapping it out. Don't you feed me that bull! What was that on the phone call about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die. Tell me. Just a joke. Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. A little girl came walking in carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Who is Hana? Teruo Toyama's only daughter, currently 10 years old. The night Hana was born at Shibuya Central Hospital, there was an unexpected fireworks display outside the window of the maternity ward. As he looked out at the bursting rockets, Teruo decided to name his daughter Hana after the Japanese word for fireworks, Hanabi. Let's see. Minorikawa stared. Toyama, you were planning on using that hose to... He hesitated to end his sentence with gas yourself to death. Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is! It was a beautiful sunny April day outside. Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. Ah, motherfucker. Okay. Alright, can't really go further there. Maybe Tama? Although, I don't remember where I left off with Tama. Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagishita. Hey, a voice said out of nowhere, if you want, I could pay you $10,000. Okay, I remember this. We'll let that play out. It's fucking goofy looking man. I don't remember if this ended at a bad end or a to be continued or what. Ah! Oh. I deserve that. That's what I get for clicking outside of the screen. But I gotta do it again. Sorry. That's the thing. Sorry. Anyways. Blah, blah, blah. Dude won't take no for an answer. Dude is still not taking no for an answer. Jesus Christ. I forgot how long this little scene was. I kind of wish there was a way to fast forward even faster. Kind of like with like dating games and stuff like that. If you already seen the scene, if you just hold enter, it skips super quickly. Up until it reaches a point where you haven't seen it before. I'm kind of surprised this game doesn't actually have that kind of functionality.
There's a knock at the door. Huh? Who could that be? Mr. Yanagishita asks. We got a customer already? He opens the door and heads outside. Oh. No way is that a customer, Chiri says. I mean, right? She guzzles from her 2-liter bottle of iced tea. No one's gonna buy something as sketchy as this. I guess not, I agree. About the only thing I can really say about Burning Hammer is that it's spicy. Anyhow, Chidi says, wanna get something to eat? But you just ate lunch. 2 lunches. I know, this amazing Chinese buffet. Wanna come along? Because I am gonna dominate. Huh? Someday I plan to chow my way through every item on their menu. Before I can respond, I hear a sudden outburst in the hallway. What the hell are you thinking, selling something like this? The voice sounds harsh and strained. It's quickly followed by another voice. Mr. Yanagishita sounded desperately apologetic. Well, be fair now. I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach. He must have given someone some burning hammer, huh? I say. Chidi nods. Yeah, maybe. That's weird. Did we really get a customer this early? Yeah, isn't the sales demo not until 1 o'clock? There are more sounds from the hallway. Chidi gets a weird look on her face. Whoa, what? What the heck? What's going on? Die! What the fuck? Suddenly, a man kicks down the door and bursts in, shrieking like a madman. His face is flushed, steam is erupting from every pore. Chidi and I can only stare frozen with bewilderment as he rampages around the room, smashing everything in sight. In a matter of moments, the venue is completely totaled. Then the guy simply charges back out the door. No chance of holding a sales demo now. Why did this have to happen? Who was that guy? Why did he have to do this? I like the fucking music. It's so unfitting. There wasn't much Tama and Chidi could do to stop the strange intruder from destroying the sales event, but why did he show up in the first place, especially at this hour? The man in question has a clear choice to make at 11:30, and poor Tama's fate hinges on what he decides. So 11:30? Was that Minorikawa? Well, I can't do anything with Minorikawa yet still. I'm basically at a standstill unless something else happens here. Asawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? Oh yeah, this is where he shows the dude the pictures of all the people with the virus.
Coffee and muffin time.
Ooh.
I baked the muffins myself.
Oh, awesome. What kind of muffins?
Chocolate chip, of course. D.
Nice. Only the best kind. Okay, I
No,
think
the
we're
best
almost at the
kind of
point.
pure chocolate.
Are you telling me this isn't pure chocolate, though?
Yes.
But you put chocolate in the mixture, right? Oh wait. Let's see. Another email arrived at his inbox. Osawa furrowed his brow as he scanned the message. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing ASAP. If not, someone is going to die. Minoru Minorikawa.
Just chocolate chip, please.
Heaven Publishing? Oh, you should add cocoa powder to the mixture. That'd make it really good. Osawa wasn't familiar with either of those names. He wondered if it was related to the mysterious emails he'd received earlier, or maybe the sender had some information about the kidnapping. The fact that the message had been signed with a real name instead of a pseudonym, along with its obvious urgency, certainly gave it an air of truth. And the words, "someone is going to die," filled him with a wave of panic. Maria! There was no time to waste. In a rush, he found directions to Heaven Publishing on his computer, then slipped out of the house. It took a good while to find his way to the multi-tenant building. The signs in front showed that Heaven Publishing occupied the 3rd and 4th floors. Osawa took the elevator to the 3rd floor. He peeked inside the offices there only to find the entire place empty. The 4th floor was likely deserted. There was a rope dangling from the ceiling tied off into a noose. It all seemed rather sinister, but Osawa had no idea what it meant. He waited a good 30 minutes, anxious the whole time. The half hour turned into an hour, and then to 2. It seemed that no one was going to turn up. Osawa headed back to the 3rd floor. He decided to wait there for 1 more hour. By now, he was committed. The extra hour turned into 2. Exhausted, he dozed off in his chair, and when he came to, it was close to sundown. Sunset already? He gazed out the window, the haze of sleep still clinging to his mind. He had the feeling he was forgetting something important, but the sight of the sun quietly setting over the cityscape made the crisis of life feel strangely distant. The time of peace and quiet he had longed for was right here. Are you kidding me? Okay, but there was nobody there. This email was sent by Minorikawa. At around 11:30, he blasted out an email to all the reporters he knew, but in his hurry, he screwed up one of the addresses, which coincidentally delivered a copy of the message to Osawa. Obviously, this never would have happened if Minorikawa hadn't rushed out that email. Oh, I get it now. Okay. So now I can play as Minorikawa, maybe? No? Is it going to tell me to keep out again? I have a feeling it will. Oh, come on. Please don't make me keep out again. I hope this works.
Motherfucker. Okay. I don't know what to do to get past this keep out. Ah! There's a jump here. There we go. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of exasperation. It's the scratch cards that were in 4-star general gossip. That's where the problem is. And what is the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you could see where the winning symbols are. Whoa. I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this, he gestured vaguely. It's my fault. My responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols, and suddenly thousands of card holders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left of the company, and he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star general gossip. If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper. And if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue, Minorikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box. But Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile that had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 win symbols. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. Just in case you don't know what the proof is, there it is. Well then, Minorikawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh, then held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minorikawa. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout in the draft proposal for next month's issue. Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I'm trying to help. Now show me the layout in the proposal before I change my mind. After a brief incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout in publishing speak is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. It's hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock. Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, all right. Says who? Minorikawa replied. Remember who you're talking to here. You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minorikawa shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. Why are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minorikawa, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head so deeply Minorikawa thought he might put his face through the floor. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter. Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey now, enough of the waterworks. I've got your backs. Don't you worry about a thing. Minorikawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The words Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special were plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket, drink yourself thin with burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it were mixed with a laxative, probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorikawa had a rough idea where it was. It looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in the hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance, hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy Squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya Now. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, things had flipped around completely and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. Turn to the dark side. It had the markings for an interesting article to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorikawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that the organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya? Minorikawa decided that one of those 3 would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There was a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut. Well, let's see. This one he could run into Achi. This one we don't even know if it even exists. This one we don't know much about. So it's going to be A or C, I think. I just don't know which. Maybe... because this one seems like it didn't have a lot of notes on it. So I'll say this one. Finally, he decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. It had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance. Where are they now? Sexy Squared. Those 3 pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minorikawa decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. The only one he managed to get a hold of was Shinosuke Warai from the Where Are They Now piece. Who is Shinosuke? Former broadcast writer, has appeared on various popular variety shows on commercial network Sun TV. He currently heads up a small theater troupe known as the Wandering Angels, operating out of Shibuya. Later today, the troupe is putting on a performance at Theater Ace in Sakuragaoka-cho. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30. Minorikawa sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it all up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing, and that was another writer. Minorikawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines, overseas on business, in the hospital, currently doing time. Before long, he'd called everyone he could think of except for one. Novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minorikawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews. And if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue is whether she would hinder more than help. So we know that if I select this one, that's the wrong answer, and that makes the doctor come here for no reason. This was no time for beggars to be choosers. Minorikawa decided to call up Chiaki. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Mello? Chiaki, hi, it's Minorikawa. Are you free today?
Huh? What?
She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up?
No, I mean... Well, yeah. Good morning.
Her voice still sounded half asleep. So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual?
Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep.
If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well, almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP.
What? You really mean it?
That seemed to finally wake her up. Yeah, but hurry. Minorikawa decided he'd assign a Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece. I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station.
Street interviews?
Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak.
But, Mr. Min, street interviews aren't really my,
Kid, you were just telling me how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now?
Well, I mean, I guess not.
The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock.
Okay.
He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through, Toyama, somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem.
Are you kidding me?
Minorikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice.
What is it now?
The loan company is sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. But as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them.
That's less than ideal, yeah.
So what's the plan? Well, they've said provisionally that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment.
Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed.
But they're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If we could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them.
All right, Minorikawa said wearily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock.
They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. That made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems Any other problems you'd like to let me know about? No, Toyama said. No, that's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa. Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before. Yeah, well, just let me handle it, all right? Minorikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Diet Drink Sales Demo Center Guy. Where are they now? Sakuragaoka Theater Ace. Society of Surveillance, Dogenzaka, Endo Electronics. Sexy Squared, Midoriyama Academy. Okay, notable alumni include famous actress Masami Nagahama, a National High School Baseball Championship winning pitcher, the Tissue Prince. The fuck kind of nickname is that? Its educational philosophy is summed up in its slogan: words, skill, and beauty. A very high percentage of winners of the Miss Midoriyama contest go on to careers in the entertainment industry. Shibuya Vigilantes, location to be determined. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock, and the interview with Shinosuke Owarai for Where Are They Now is slated for 2:30, so those times were set. The question was what to do in the interim. I'm not sure. Which one? Because that one makes it seem like it's going to be a normal interview. But if I go there, he takes the drink as a sample. He drinks it. Shit goes down. He rages out and he breaks everything. So maybe it's best if I do this one. It was a bit of a hike, but maybe he should go to Dogenzaka and check out Endo Electronics. Yeah, that should give him what he needed to put together the Society of Surveillance piece. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it? Minorikawa hustled out of the editing office, hoping Toyama would take his admonition to heart. Exiting the building, he hopped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Thanks for waiting. Can you get me to Dogenzaka ASAP? Son of a bitch. Minorikawa bristled. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give a piece of your mind, sir? Was he waiting for you like you expected? Oh, yeah. And I damn well did give him a piece of my mind, too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. At least I left the taxi there, so that was smart. Minorikawa pulled out the proposal and looked it over again. The idea for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them. Supposedly, these had eliminated lots of blind spots, and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were managed by Daisuke Endo, the owner of Endo Electronics and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minorikawa's first mission, then. He needed to get this guy's story. Scanning the side of the road, Minorikawa finally spotted a rundown electronics shop. The sign out front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. The taxi stopped and Minorikawa pulled a 10,000 yen bill from his wallet. Keep the change, he said. What? Look, don't sweat it. The name's Minoru Minorikawa,
and I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things, what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. There's a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please take it. Minorikawa slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than an actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Wait, is this Achi's place? I think this is Achi's place. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against computers with 5-inch floppy drives. What are 5-inch floppy drives for all those people who aren't old enough like me? They're disk drives for old computers. That's all you need to know. What possible use could there be for all this outdated stuff? You'd be surprised, actually. Mr. Endo, are you in here? Minorikawa called out. Nobody came to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. Hey, Mr. Endo. Come on, I know you're in there. After a short wait, Minorikawa heard sounds from the living space behind the shop. A door opened to reveal a tired-looking middle-aged man. Yeah, what do you want? Are you Mr. Endo? Minorikawa asked. I am, the man said guardedly. And I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Could you come back tomorrow, or... Please, just give me a minute. I'm a freelance writer. Name's Minorikawa. Minorikawa showed Endo his business card. I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip. Magazine piece, huh? Precisely. So if I could just have a little of your time today? The phone rang, cutting him off before he could get down to business. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. Hello, Endo Electronics. The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try and get a hold of the customer, then. Endo set the receiver back down. What was that all about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine, and the manufacturer just called to let me know the model is defective. Defective? Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. I need to tell the customer I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment. Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off of one, and made a phone call. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. That's right, he grumbled to himself. He said they had some performance today. Performance? Minorikawa asked. I sold it to a guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something. This was mentioned before. A theater troupe run by Shinosuke Owarai. This afternoon at 5:30 p.m. they are performing their 22nd piece, Au Revoir. Right now, all of the actors are already at the theater except for Akiyomi Mondo, who plays the rival of the main character, Ryu. The angry production chief has sent his assistant to Mondo's apartment, but he does not yet know what awaits him there. Okay. The Wandering Angels. That was Shinosuke Owarai's theater troupe. Minorikawa had an interview with him booked at 2:30, or 4 for 2:30. Anyhow, what can I do for you? Minorikawa hastily explained what he was after. Endo gave him a dubious look. As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now. Busy cleaning up, I hope. How do you get anything done in this mess? Why, are you this rude to all of your interview subjects? 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, please. You've got to be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Endo headed for his back room in a huff. Fine, then I'll just have to write about what you've already told me. Namely, that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise. Huh?
Just what are you implying? Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm gonna get in touch with them as soon as... I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting it through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minorikawa said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with a member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof that you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minorikawa replied. But one thing I'm not is a liar. The shopkeeper took a few moments to think about it. Fine. 5 minutes. That's all you get. Minorikawa whipped his notepad out from his coat like he was drawing a gun. Then, let's get right down to it, shall we? Go right ahead. So I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts. Yes, that's right. Why so many? We used to have a lot of delinquents in town. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah, I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. They were just awful. I see. Minorikawa scribbled diligently in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Wait. Vigilante squad? Whoa, hold up right there for a sec. Minorikawa jutted out his hand to interrupt. This guy's son was part of the vigilante squad? What a stroke of luck. Maybe he could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Sorry, I didn't mean to get too far off topic here, but could you tell me the name of this group your son belongs to? They called themselves SOS. Originally a group of well-meaning young people who would get together downtown as a sort of vigilante squad trying to keep Shibuya clean and safe. In those days, the group never engaged in theft or other criminal activities. More recently, however, SOS has become one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya, resorting to defacing public property with graffiti, shoplifting, and shaking people down for cash. Prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya. Did I really just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. As it happens, I'd also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Yeah, sure. But you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. There's a jump right there. I'm not going to take that yet, though. Oh. Minorikawa hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me, then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. The look on Endo's face spoke volumes. Wow, he literally just called his son useless in not so many words. There was no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't with the gang anymore. It figured that Minorikawa's run of good luck would end eventually. Still, he'd gotten a lead in the form of a name, SOS. That was progress. Alright, so back to the matter at hand. He flipped his notepad back open. What did you decide to do about all these juvenile delinquents? I set up a tiny little web camera in order to protect my property. I see. And I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? It sure did. And so then other local businesses heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Web cameras aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough to set them up all over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the Downtown Business Committee take turns. The cameras are connected via a wireless network that business owners can access throughout the area. How's your security for this wireless network? Oh, no problems on that front. Endo seemed surprised at the question. All of the footage set over the network is fully encrypted. In case you don't know, encryption is a thing.
Something happened. Give me one moment. Fuck. Anyways. But still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Minorikawa asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who determines what that balance is? Minorikawa let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of the security cameras. I see. So essentially you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying that I'm abusing my authority? Endo shot back. I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right, you've had your 5 minutes. Now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed into the back. I'll be sure to let the Wandering Angels know about the dry ice machine, Minorikawa hollered at the closing door. Endo didn't reply. Minorikawa had gotten enough of a story to put an article together, so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some copy. He was making his way down along Dogonzaka when his cell phone rang. The incoming call display showed Chiaki's name. Chiaki, what's going on?
Oh, it's no use.
She sounded like she was on the verge of tears. What's no use?
I can't do this. I just can't talk to people passing by on the street.
What? Why not?
It's just that everyone seems so busy when they're walking past. If I try to interrupt them, they're gonna be all mad at me.
Who the hell cares if they get mad? Minorikawa was ready to start ripping his hair out.
I don't want them to be mad at me,
she whimpered again. Well, this wasn't about what she wanted, was it? She was supposed to be working, not whining. Look, Chiaki, you need to get me those interviews, period. Do I make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. Damn it, Minorikawa muttered. Just what I needed. One more thing to worry about. He pulled out his hair a few times, then cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. Alright, guess I got hit with a TB continued. It's already 11, so I do want to work on Blender things. So I'm gonna stop the Twitch stream and stuff here and switch over to the site that shall not be named so I can work on Blender for the rest of the night. And I guess tomorrow I'll be switching over to Achi and finishing up this second chapter of the game. So I will see you next time. Have a good night as soon as I close out of the game. Alright, there we go. Have a good night. Oh, where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? There's my mouse.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find